The games
Solar
against
game.
Solary were pretty darn interesting, actually.
Yeah, these actually, I think these had a crazy amount of interesting spots. Okay, so we've got the bannerman mirror. Well, I say bannerman mirror. He's using like MF scouts, but it's more like kind of mid game. It's like smaller splash. He doesn't have no. It is bannerman mirror. I remember. He's just using the one citrus courier splash instead of the one.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember
It's straight
that
up bannerman mirror. Straight up bannerman mirror.
There was something special about it. If I recall correctly, he plays 0 riposts, which is
Yes.
big downside for the mirror.
I think that's pretty ladder standard bannerman list to run 0 riposts. But yeah, it doesn't win the mirror. Ripost is really, really important. So we take a mulligan, kicking our 5s. I think I like keeping Swiftwing Lancer if we have a developed hand, but I can't in the mirror if we have a developed hand, but I can't keep it here. And we hit right away the quad trick hand. If you could see inside my soul, you could see I'm a little displeased here. Okay?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
So basically, we're running a 4 repost deck, right? We're using Fury of the North as our... The rules say you need to use 6 regions, so you need to take every bannerman deck and put in an extra card. So we're running Fury as our 4th repost. And this is basically BBG insisting it was good. And I followed that. And I think it made sense because repost just swings the mirror so much.
He's correct about it for sure.
And he is. Yes, exactly. I was a little disappointed for like the first like 30 seconds. But like... The more I thought about it, the more I just like settled in with this hand. I was like, you know, if I just have like 4 reposts, how can I actually lose? It's like as soon as I draw a unit, I'll just never lose the board.
As long as you don't get out tempoed and overrun, you will win.
And we just
there we go.
And that's it. The Fiora on 3, saving a brick hand, killing the war chefs. This is like such a crazy swing.
You also have mana bank for resolve just in case you'll ever need it. But like. This is so big, like, your opponent not playing riposte, you can play... Later on, there will be some spots where you can play so furiously in spots where you would usually have to respect your opponent's hands and combo trades.
And I feel ahead already. Like, without that Fiora draw, it's a little dubious, because he could have, like, an aggressive hand that could blow me out. I'm not, like... I don't know. I don't even really mind the draws at this point. Like, I've got actions. My hand looks really bad, and it's not the most ideal hand ever, but it's a lot better than it looks. It's not a bad hand. Because Bannerman is literally all about just like long-term value to the point where like this hand looks as bricked as possible, but I don't really care about tempo, like actually at all. My objective is very, very simply to just outvalue him long-term. Each of the reposts and Fury of the North are just a 2-unit swing. It's always a 2-for-1. And so 3 are huge.
Yeah, riposte block, I like it. Fury, like the 1 additional damage on Fury of the North will make you want to hold that card for when you actually need it. So you elect riposte over Fury, definitely correct.
Yeah. And the Fiora here turns into like a legitimate threat as a win condition. He will have to answer this Fiora. Well, that's pretty big. So we always let it through and we pass here. And here he tanks a bit. We're hoping he's gonna like single combat Fiora. Honestly, it doesn't really matter to us either way. And he takes the single combat on Fiora. He knows that we're tapped out from a response. If he's going to do it, he has to do it there. It somewhat reads like a 2 single combat hand. We'll see.
So now you only have 2 combat tricks to play around left. Only 2 single combats and 1 detain, which is, you can consider a combat trick as well.
What do you do in this position?
2 unyielding spirits, but it's not a thing yet. Yeah, I think the empty bannerman is correct.
Yeah.
I remember you spamming the power. Yes. Solid emote game portrayed by Swimothy right here.
Yeah. Always make them think they're ahead. Poro is the strongest emote by far, and Darius. Poro and Darius, those are the strongest emotes. They have the highest.
Yeah. I like them. There's one thing I want to mention here. This is going to be super important. Emotional tilt is a huge thing, and it is so underestimated in collective card games. Like in poker, it's one of the like before even really learning game theory, the most important, or anything about the game, the most important skills if you want to make it as a poker player are bankroll management and controlling tilt.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And 100%. This is a thing in card games as well. Emotions will impact your decisions and you will not make perfectly rational and logical decisions. Like your facial expressions as well. It did look a lot like you were emotionally tilted. I'm not sure how much.
Oh yeah. No, I was a bit.
Okay, this barrier is interesting. I think that's what I would have done as well.
Yeah.
So one other thing that a lot of newer people kind of might misevaluate in situations like this is, especially in a like purely board centric matchup as the Demacia mirror, Nexus health doesn't matter.
Yes.
But the advantage on, or like almost doesn't matter, but the advantage on board is incredibly valuable. And also card advantage in hand, if board state is even, is incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
Therefore, you do not want to, like, you give up tempo happily to improve board state very, very, very slightly.
Yeah.
And therefore, in this spot, not swinging with the 2 C3s.
This is the matchup that just most challenges raw fundamentals. It's just like trading, long-term advantage, health is a resource. This is like the ultimate health is a resource matchup. And that's why like our opening hand looked so bad, and it kind of was until we drew Fiora. But as soon as we draw that Fiora, our hand is better than his. I haven't seen his hand, but I'm pretty sure our hand was better than his as soon as we drew the Fiora.
Yeah, it must have been. It's insane value.
And it looks like
also,
such a shit hand.
One more thing that's very interesting in these matchups is as soon as you have the slightest of edges, let's say your board is exactly even and you have a 1 card advantage in hand, every even trade you make is going to improve your win percentage because it reduces your opponent's chances of catching up.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. That's a bit like in chess, right?
Exactly.
Once you have a 1 or 2 pawn advantage, it can just snowball. If everything gets traded evenly, your 1 pawn will turn into a queen, and it's checkmate like 3 moves later.
But yeah, I mean, it's basically just kind of trading down from this point, right? I don't think there's anything like wacky that happens. I'm trying to remember. So we're playing around Vengeance a little, we're playing around Judgment a bit. So I recently did the math on this. I said that odds of them having Judgment if Garen is on the board is about 20%, which is the odds that given seeing 1 Garen, the odds of them having the second Garen, this is of course a rough approximation because it depends a bit on the turn in question, but it's pretty close to 20%. I actually didn't know those odds before I calculated them for this page. It's kind of like, it's a nice rule of thumb.
I think this was the spot I was thinking about when I said it's enormously huge that your opponent does not play Riposte here. He's on 12 total mana, and you holding single combat in hand can just threaten to kill the Garen over the Judgment anyway.
Yep.
And he would need 2 single combats to answer that. Like, if yours Garen single combats his Garen, he needs to sacrifice 2 minions to get rid of your Garen before your Garen kills his Garen. So you basically,
and that's why I don't have to worry about Judgment. Exactly.
Exactly. Simply because your opponent does not have a single copy of Riposte in deck. Like, unless you're playing around Judgment plus single combat, you could have had lethal here. But I don't mind you not going for it because you're so far ahead anyway.
Yeah. Why risk it on a Judgment plus single combat? I thought about that. I knew there were people in chat that were probably like doing the Hearthstone Mist lethal thing.
It's a classic Hearthstone lethal, right?
Yeah. And yeah, it's a closeout from here. Yeah, Bannerman games take a long time to close out, by the way. It's interesting. This is actually the longest matchup in the entire game. The Bannerman Mirror. I think if both players are playing it well, it goes to like 20 plus minutes every time.
Yeah, because you will often have board states where like no player, like both players have full boards, but none is going to attack because they respect opponent's combat tricks and they don't want to allow favorite trades for your opponent, because in that case, like reacting can be better than proactively pushing. So chat, if I recall correctly, this is the one where I kind of completely disliked Swim's mulligan. Yeah, if I recall correctly, you keep Shadow Assassin, Merchant, and Pilfered Goods here. I was just saying this to chat. I consider that to be like completely...
Yeah, sounds like a donkey fucking mulligan if I do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember we said like, okay, this is the matchup. You keep Eye, you keep Claws. And if you have one of those two, you keep Retreat, and the rest you kick. And
well, okay, I will say, BBG said that you actually kick Eye in this matchup. Comments?
Why would you? You have like 12 ways of protecting Eye.
Look,
and you even run 2 concussive pawns.
I'll admit, this mulligan is very trolly.
Like,
that was not great.
I do consider that a big oopsie, I have to say.
Yeah, let's tally that up. Man, we've been oopsie-less for a while. I dare say I made 0 oopsies with Bannerman the entire time.
Oh, wow. Might be correct.
I think so. I mean, it mostly got banned out.
A solid Bannerman player.
Right. I think I just have the mentality of a bannerman player. I think just the unique way the machinations of my mind work are well suited for the bannerman play style.
Like it's this vanilla mindset, which by itself, like it does have a skill edge somewhere,
Yeah,
but it's also
exactly.
accessible to being played easily. So yeah, but this is exactly what I mean. The first action you have is Shadow Assassin on 3. The second action is going to be, okay, you did draw a second black market merchant, but it will be like the 2 merchants on turn 4. And you most likely won't have mana to play the cards on turn 4. So you can only start catching up in value on turn 5. And by that point, if Solary didn't brick his draw, he's going to play like Bannerman or Grizzled Ranger here. And if he has another 5-drop, you're ridiculously far behind. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's an amazing mechanic. It's crazy value, but it's simply too late.
I think I lost this game, right?
Yeah, if I recall correctly. Yeah, you went to the indoor game.
It's weird. I'm looking at this spot and I'm like, God, how could I possibly have lost it from here, man?
See, he goes into 5-drop.
Yeah, but I have like a 10-card hand with my like. I have like a 12-card hand. I'll just play more guys.
But it's in your hand. Mana is the limiting resource here.
Yeah, but he can't kill me that fast. I'm just gonna play guy, and then I'm gonna play guy, and then he's gonna attack, and then I'll play guy, and then I'll just keep playing guys. How could I lose? I mean, I do lose, but how could I lose? What would you do here? This is actually a little hard.
You know your opponent is gonna swing. The decision is Gold Card or Badger Bear.
Yeah.
I prefer Badger Bear.
That's exactly what was happening in my head.
Twisted Fate is more valuable against Citria than Garen. You can't even Concussive Palm here. It wouldn't have been awful to Concussive Palm preemptively, but like this is better.
Oh yeah, I did single combat Bear into War Chests.
I actually like that a lot. I did call that out on stream. I said I hope he single combats here because your opponent tapped out of single combat mana.
Yeah.
But that was for sure the correct play. The Concussive Palm, yeah, it's fine.
And then
it's not necessary, but also it's just about your best way to spend your mana.
The safety block on the left side kills his unit through if he plays Resolve. Then...
Yeah, but you are gonna open Makeage Drain next turn anyway. I'm not sure if the safety block is even good.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
But
that's
then
pretty
again,
close.
you have so many. Yeah, but you have a lot of units who are going to refill your board anyway, so I don't mind trading away. Like potentially trading away one of your favorite cards.
So we've got red or Make It Rain. Did I red here? I think I redded here.
Yeah, red. Yeah, I can get behind red.
Yeah. See, like, look at this situation. How did I lose this game? I'm still trying to.
How did you lose?
How the fuck did I lose this game? What happened?
I think it was the Citria.
I think, yeah, he just played, like, really big cards, and my large amount of small cards did nothing against his, like, vastness of big cards.
Yeah. But that is exactly one of the reasons why, like, Palm and Will are your only good answers to Citria, and I get that Garen is kind of a problem as well, especially if he flips, but he's not even close to it.
Right.
Like, you'll always have, at this point, you'll always have a lot of chump blockers or semi-chump blockers, but you'll never have good answers for Citria.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's part of the problem of red card here. I think maybe Make It Rain was better to keep gold up.
Yeah, it might have been. And maybe the, like, Concussive Palm next time maybe you just keep it. Obviously, it is very unfortunate you didn't draw into them, especially with 2 Shadow Assassins in hand. And you didn't draw Deep Med yet and so on. Like, I feel like you did get a bit, like...
Did I draw one Deep Meditation the entire tournament? Have I drawn that card yet?
Yes, so far I didn't. I think I saw one, if I recall correctly.
I don't know, man. What's happening here?
Like, I'm not even gonna lie, it did look like your draws on average with this deck were pretty scuffed. But also your mulligans...
Whoa.
were partially suboptimal.
Look, I agree. This mulligan was definitely pretty Papega. You like using both and not respecting like Citria. Like if I had Will in hand, maybe it's okay, but Citria just like you need one of those 3 things against Citria or you literally lose. Can we talk about how good Citria is? It's like Badger Bear and shit is getting all the attention. Citria is like straight up just like one of the best cards in the game. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, for sure.
Bannerman would
also
be
a bit
nothing
meta dependent,
Citria.
right?
And here it's like I still feel pretty
like
ahead. Like I've got double draw, double Shadow Assassin. I can just outvalue.
Yeah, it looks like you're ahead too. You can even elect whether you need to draw more resources with PF or keep it as a gold card. Thing is, like, Solary is most likely going to open attack next turn. If I recall correctly, he even dropped another Citria. It does look like you have everything you need though, right? It's literally only unfortunately, you don't have enough answers for frickin' Citria. Oh, this...
Was this
you
blue?
could have...
Oh, man.
Wait,
What?
you could have returned Eye of the Dragon and played Lee Sin.
Yee. Ooh. Oh. Oh, God.
But no, that is too risky against single combat, I feel like. No, it's probably good the way you did. You probably wait with flipping Lee Sin until...
right.
With
Yeah,
playing him until he's flipped.
Yeah, I remember now. It's all coming back to me. That's why I didn't do that. Exactly. That's exactly right. Oh, yeah, this.
Oh, yeah, that did happen.
That's the first time it's ever happened to me. That's never happened to me
I've never
before.
seen that happen myself.
I didn't even know it
Shadow
worked like
Assassin.
that.
Yeah, at this point, it looks like you just straight up win. Like,
Right.
you outgrind your opponent over the next 6 turns.
I've got Lee Sin. Demacia has no answer for Lee Sin. He's not going to enable Citrus Courier off of these attacks anymore, I think. We've got blockers. Our hand is as big as his hand. We've got concussive. Where does this go wrong?
Let's see how this pans out. Let's see if we can spot any oopsies here. That's pretty good for him, though, I have to admit. You can do a pretty cool line here with Sonic Wave. Like, you Sonic Wave your Brightsteel Protector to give a challenger, you give your Twisted Fate to attack, and Garen is gonna be in either challenger or... Like, even if he plays Ranger's Resolve... No, wait, if he flips, he's not
Okay, wait.
Ranger
What are you
anymore.
saying we should do? Because I just remembered what I did here.
I don't remember the card's name. You can do Hadouken onto the Brightsteel Protector and give your Twisted Fate +2 attack. And you could even queue up Make It Rain in the same sequence, threatening to kill Garen before he flips.
Okay,
It
so
would be a 75%.
I think
if opponent doesn't.
I
have
think
resolve.
that's a bad play. Do you know why I think that's a bad play?
Because
Because that's what I did. That's exactly what I did.
and
I think
what happened then?
It didn't. Well, first of all, we hit the 25 as we always do, but
Okay. But
even if it didn't, it just felt like kind of an unnecessary risk. It's like I have the token. I can use the Hadouken +2 like later. I don't need to use it now. Why use the +2 before my combat? I have a token. I'm gonna go to combat later. I'm gonna hit the Garen later.
yeah, I guess. Let's see what happens. It's probably resolve, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's all coming back to me. Ooh. Oh yeah. Right. Okay. It's all.
And now he plays Bannerman, right? Now he plays Bannerman.
Oh Jesus. Oh Christ. I remember now. I remember.
Wait,
Oh God.
Wait, what happened here though? So it's pretty obvious. You pull Citria and you pull
It's like
Garen
repost
and
to
you swing with the
resolve.
others too.
I don't know.
Shucks.
Okay, no. So what happened here? Like, okay, the fact that he did that means he has to have an answer. So I don't even try to pull the Cithria. Then that can't be over respecting him as a player. Even Crip wouldn't do that without an answer.
He has 0 riposts in his hand, in his deck.
Yeah, so he's
like
got
the
resolve.
only possible answer is
So he's
Ranger's resolve,
yeah,
right?
but he has he has a
right.
2 of. I literally have to put him on that answer. There's nobody dumb enough to do this without having resolve. It's not even really a bluffable spot, I don't think.
But I mean, the dude has Hearthstone in his nickname. You most likely, there's a high likelihood of you finding a 1 damage ping within your next few draws. Parleys make it rain TF red card, and then the bird would still be enough to challenge killing Cithria.
Chat's saying he didn't have resolve. I guess this is.
Then it was just a full
It's
Hearthstone
it's
play.
just 3 head beating 5 head. It's just 4 head beats 3 head, 3 head
Yeah,
beats 5 head. It's just like that's just
the
how it
concept
goes.
of leveling, right?
Yeah.
He's just on level 0 and you're on level 2 when you should have been on level 1.
Exactly. How the
Dude,
fuck?
like, honestly,
how could I possibly go with the 3 attack there against the Cithria? Because even if I don't, even if he has no resolve, and even if I don't go in for that 3 damage, I don't think I'm behind yet. I've got draws. I've got ways of like stopping.
Yeah.
Getting the Lee Sin back. God, I remember now. This game was the perfect storm. Like everything went wrong.
Yeah, but he kind of nutted out at this point. Replaying the Garen, giving him the rallies, and like I'm pretty sure he drew a... Did he find a second Cithria at some point?
Right. Probably. It's a Demacia, they always. This was a crazy one. God, I can't believe I forgot this game. This
That
was
was
like
a thriller of a game.
oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, oh yeah. Of course, this card exists as well on 4 mana.
Grizzled Ranger, 4/1 Scout, Death Wish, summon a 4. Wait, that's 4 mana? I think this one's pretty much over.
Yeah, it's just due to your next draws kind of like not getting your draw, like the cycle engine going again.
This one was kind of a crazy low roll.
Also, like a will would have been enough, right?
Correct.
I think you
exactly.
didn't find a single will.
Exactly. I didn't find a single will. Deep Meditation has great odds of will. I have like Pilfered Goods.
That was just like a statistically ridiculous comeback. Like even after you pulled the Garen only, I think you are still like your EV of like your equity in this game is 75% plus. I think.
Yeah, even after all that, even after like him having the perfect hand, I wouldn't say 75. I would say somewhere in the 60s. But
yeah,
it was
yeah, that's fair because he had so many cards in hand. It might have been rather like 65. Let's say 2 out of 3.
I don't know,
but
man.
The way it resolved was kind of ridiculous.
Absolutely insane. That was a crazy low roll. And don't get me wrong, it's like, but what I like to say is like, if you don't play perfectly, you're not allowed to complain about RNG. Like we could have won through that low roll if we had played better, and that's what you have to do as a good player. The whole point. What I think people complain about RNG when they don't realize that what being a good player means is being able to win when you have bad RNG, because everyone has the same RNG.
I like the mulligan, by the way. Like against Endors, you could consider keeping a Palm because Palm is kind of close to Will in what it does.
Yeah.
Like it stops an Endure attack, but it might be too. Like you cycle so much in this game that you like. In this matchup, you might actually even prefer Yoink cards.
Yeah. I always prefer
Shadow Assassin is a great
cards.
fight. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I mean, average people might even prefer Yoink cards. Swim always prefers Yoink. That's the point.
Oh yeah,
yeah, Brood is really good for Solary here.
Yeah, this was a nuts Brood.
So by the way, Solary's deck is a bit distinct to what we saw earlier as Endure decks. He played the classic like Elise Thresh Tryndamere package with 1 Trinda. So 3 Omen Hawks, 3 Sentries, 2 Flash Freezes, and 2 Furies of the North. He went for a much bigger failure splash. 0 Vengeances, 0 Ruinations. But he did play 3 Grasps.
Yes. Right.
Okay. So, but point still stands, like you don't care about your eye being at 2 or 3. In most situations, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, Shadow Isles can just never deal 2 damage, really. Well, okay. I said that. There's one... They actually can deal 2 damage now. With Blighted Caretaker. Like, normally it's like...
Oh, right.
And I realized that, I don't think it was in the tournament, but the other day on Ranked I was explaining, like, you always just go down to 2 against Shadow Isles because they can't deal 2. But now, with Caretaker, it's like, sometimes you can't do that anymore.
Yeah. And your opponent actually does run 2 of them.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
Okay, I think this is where, like, the big oath happened. If I recall correctly, do you remember what happens here?
No.
I mean, you even checked the eye. How many spiders do you have?
Yeah, the Elise flipping. Yeah. Blocking Aristocrat.
Oopsie.
Yeah, we're telling that one.
Huge oopsie.
We're telling that one.
I was actually amazed of your poker face. Like, we were all thinking, was that somehow intended? Like, it can't have been intended. At least
everything looks intentional because I never react to anything ever. Yeah, letting Elise flip is quite bad. That's one of the bigger oopsies in the game. Oh yeah, I took his They Who Endure, which is a low roll. Everyone's like Omega lolling when it happens, but yeah, I mean you don't want to see that.
How is that a low roll? That's one of the like ways you put opponent's clock, like you reduce opponent's clock by 2 attacks or something like that. Especially you having a Eye of the Dragon.
Wait, what do you mean reducing their clock by 2 attacks?
No, because you actually threaten to deal a lot of damage to their Nexus. Because usually later on in the game you only get like on every attack you maybe get Lee Sin and a Shadow Assassin swing in. So usually per attack you only deal like 4 to 6, sometimes 8 damage.
Yeah.
But playing Endure you can realistically output 10 plus damage in a turn.
But yeah, this was kind of a weird game. As soon as we let the Elise flip, yeah, we put ourselves in a bad situation. That was one of the bigger oopsies, just straight up.
The finish is pretty big though. Like I guess a lot of newer players will have something to learn from the very last turn. I remember that.
Yeah, I think this was the second to last turn. We've got They Who Endure and Lee Sin. We go for the open attack instead because our They Who Endure isn't big enough yet, and Lee Sin doesn't have any challenger or anything. So we just
I don't mind this.
Yeah, it's like a
I don't quite remember.
It's like a dick swing, but it's a really teeny tiny dick swing. Oh yeah, we play Black Market Merchant. Oh yeah, we get Whale. I remember now. It's all coming back to me. Whale is pretty good. Wait. Hang on. Let me see that. Let me see that poker face when I draw the whale.
Wow, you're giving away a reaction. What happened?
It's true. It's true.
That's
I don't look amused. I do like this thing with my lips, and I do this thing with my fingers, and that's it. Like my actual face doesn't change, but it's true. There is a reaction there. There is a reaction there.
The 4-mana whale. Yeah, that's when we on stream were also thinking, okay, this game is back to open. Like you have what you need to win within the next 1 or 2 attacks. Like Lee and Endure are gonna be enough. Yeah. And your Nexus, like your opponent's Nexus health is low enough. How did you get him to 11, by the way? Was it just like Shadow Assassins and the Dragonlings?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Recalling the 1 health instead of the 2 is wrong against Vile. Yeah, I think that's right as well, right? I recalled the 2 instead of the 1.
Oh yeah. Wait.
Because someone mentioned that before.
Might have been true.
Yeah, I think that's true. Let me go back and double check, just because we want to be as accurate as possible with our oopsie counter.
Checking for oopsies here, because that was a micro misplay, but it's like a pretty blatant one.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's exactly right. Yeah, right here. It's kind of it's sort of strange. I remember doing that, and I think I was conscious of what was happening. This must have implied I had a reason, but for the life of me, looking at the situation, I can't imagine what the reason was. If he Vile Feast, he doesn't get to They Who Endure, and I didn't want him playing it on that turn specifically, or...
That seems a bit wacky.
Yeah, I agree. Sure. The weird thing, normally I would chalk this up to a mistake of just me not thinking about it, but I unless I'm misremembering, I remember being very aware of targeting the 1 health one specifically. I don't know what my reasoning could have been.
It might just be a very classic example of overthinking.
I mean, I'll just chalk that one up as a misplay. Brings us to 14 oopsies overall. 14 oopsies across. Really? Is that low or high? This has been 5 hours so far.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. But I thought we'd be at less, because the Demacia games have been fairly oopsie free.
Yeah, that's true.
We have been like racking up the numbers on Karina and the Lee Sin deck, I think.
This is our 12th game so far, so it's like 1.1 oopsies per game, roughly.
On average, your opponent did more oopsies.
Yeah, and that's why we were able to place high, but still, it's never
happen, right?
It's not acceptable for like the future.
I'm pretty sure this is where it all went down. Like, your opponent is holding a huge Endure after that Naked Train, like an 18-18. Like, don't get me wrong, you still have answers for it, but he's also holding 2 Furies of the North.
Well, the size of the They Who Endure, if I'm at 11 health, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, it shouldn't matter. Like, most likely, like, us knowing your cards, you still just win on the turn afterwards, most likely. Yeah. But this is very interesting. Right, he did this first, so he still has enough mana for both Furies of the North, and he has enough blockers to block your whole board. Like, only Lee Sin and Shadow Assassin would connect. For damage, he'd be at 5 HP. I'm not quite sure if he even had healing. That might have been the case as well. So maybe he would have even been able to survive another attack afterwards. Now let's wait a bit. You drop the Endure?
Yeah. I think it's a 7/7 here. It's just like... So do you think dropping the Endure is a misplay here?
Not at all.
Yeah,
your opponent runs 0 vengeances. Dropping the Endure represents lethal on board.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, it would have, if your opponent would have played correctly, it would have
forces an answer.
One or 2 Fury of the North. Like, probably at least blocks and Furies, and you just retreat your own Endure. And it's pretty much like, or not even sure if you do that actually, but your retreat can be the same value as 1 or 2 Furies of your opponent, which is pretty insane. Like, it can just burn them. It's literally, you represent lethal on board. Solary has answers in hand which prevent that lethal. And he taps himself out of mana by playing his own Endure. And then, yeah, just dies to the lethal on board.
Yeah, the Solary play
Like,
was
we were
the
a bit
biggest
baffled
oopsie.
at this,
Yeah.
but then again, I mean, a lot of new cards, interactions, like, you might not really be familiar with them. Like, at this point, even Vile Feast, right? You're at -1. There's nothing that can save you.
Okay. So, yeah. So far, this is the 12th game, and it's closed out. So 14 oopsies over 12 games, which is obviously very unacceptable. That's way too high. But, I mean, like you say, the opponents are making more oopsies on average, which is why we're able to do decently.
Yeah.
It's a ridiculous amount. I'd be okay if it was like 3 over 12 games, like 1 oopsie per series is kind of like, I would call that the acceptable range. At least for the time being. Obviously, you know.
Yeah.
You're never happy.
But
even if you do pretty well, there's always, you're going to find some oopsies, But
yeah, you will do oopsies. It's just like, try to make less oopsies than your opponent.